Let's
Great.
go.
So no problem. Let's do it.
And so, Adrien, I really want to thank you for this interview. 10 question, kind of 10 quick questions to address this question of this point of SaaS security and Zygon, and how Zygon can address and solve some of these issues. So this is a flash interview. Thank you very much. And I mean,
Thank you.
I'll leave you start asking those questions.
Thank you,
Hi
Thomas.
everybody.
I am with Samuel today, and we're starting our smart webinar. So Zygon is a tool that monitors SaaS access to all people working within the company. What is the SaaS sprawl context nowadays? And how came the idea of securing SaaS?
That's a very good question, and maybe let me share my screen, because I think that showing sometimes is better than just explaining. Um, when we started, and we realized, and it was a surprise, I have to tell you, I have to confess that it was a real surprise, that the numbers in terms of SaaS adoption were massive. I mean, we 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 got really surprised by how many SaaS most of our customers are using, were using, or still use. To give you a few numbers, and those numbers are really astonishing. In the last 3 years, the number of SaaS was multiplied by 5 on average for each organization, which gives something around at least 200 apps for a customer. And we have seen customers like with a few hundred employees having 300, 500 SaaS. Imagine how much it could be for a very large organization. And in the meantime, that's important, because most of the security policies, they are still driven by the network perimeter, and they have not been revised to be adapted to the SaaS, to the cloud environment. You have this example on the screen, which is again a very simple example. A small company like 10 to 20 users. I mean, we can list 150 apps. That's massive. And how do you address that? And I'm talking about apps, but let's think about accounts. If we go to the number of account, then we easily get in the 1,000, 2,000 account for such a small organization. Now, try to manage the scale of those numbers in a mid-size or mid-enterprise organization. I mean, it makes a lot. So that's the context of the SaaS sprawl, and then raise the question of how do you address that? What do you do with all those systems? Because the hackers, as those organizations were progressively migrating from the on-prem to the cloud, hackers did the same. And they started, and there is another number, it was from last year, I think 40% of the attacks either started from a SaaS app or went through a SaaS app. That's a lot. And it makes sense. So then you have to get protected, and you have to protect all your SaaS apps. And we can talk about what does it mean.
Definitely. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Hi, Thomas. I have a quick question for you.
Hi, Sam.
How do you collect data regarding online tools used by employees?
And yeah, thank you. Because when it comes to identifying all those accounts, there is the question of how do you do that? And on the market, you basically have 3 options. The historical one, where you make the analysis of the network data, and usually the amount of data is such that this is very complicated to get to really understand if there is an effective use of a SaaS first, and then to maintain it. So that's the first option. Many people tried. I mean, to my opinion, it doesn't work very well. There is a second option, which is to use an agent on the device, or a browser, a browser extension, which is very accurate, but very intrusive in the meantime. And it means that we had so many tens or almost 100 interviews with prospect and customers about that specific way to capture the data. And we got so many pushbacks that we decided that it was not the right way. And then we decided to use another one. And basically what we do, we collect data from many sources. We have our own sources, which is our SaaS repository, where we have about 20,000 SaaS. And when it's about the customer data and the way they use those online apps, those cloud apps, then we have different options. We can use the API provided by Microsoft or Google and retrieve the OAuth token, or we can also make the analysis of the email metadata, which is a very good way to get an accurate and very relevant data. We can also integrate ourselves with tools like with other IDP like Okta, which give a pretty good vision of what is protected by a tool by like Okta. And obviously we also collaborate and organize the work with business users, and we try to collect and gather those data by direct discussion with these people. And I will show you some examples.
Okay, actually, I have a question regarding this. Why do you think IT and security team should collaborate with business user when it comes to SaaS?
And you know it when you are in a cloud organization, the point is that this is very decentralized. We are very far from decentralized model with IT people managing everything and having control of all those apps and who connects to what. Obviously, when you just have to create an account online, the only way, I mean, and this is what people, I mean, whether you like it or not, it doesn't change anything. This is what business users do. They open an account, they sign up into a new marketing tool, a trendy, fancy new one. And you cannot control it. Most of those tools, you can start, that's free, so you cannot invoice, you cannot even control the invoices. So that's the way it works. And because of that, you don't have the choice. You have to interact with business users, with the end users, and ask them why they decided to open an account. Let me show you. That's probably better. I have a very simple example. This is my account. This is myself. I have, where is it? I can take, I have probably here, let me show you. I don't see. Sorry. Anyway, I can take Postman, whatever. Let's assume that I have this, I've detected as an IT manager, I've detected this tool, Postman. And how can I ask the user why he does have an account on Postman? That's very simple. From this control tower, you can just, sorry, that's the wrong one. Yeah, sorry, this is where I want it to be. I'm on the user profile, and here I can very easily just select a tool. I have Dashlane. Dashlane, that's a very good example. Usually people try to pay attention to password managers or file sharing tools. So the question is, this company, they have another password manager. This is the company tool that have been the official one that have been, and for some reason this specific user has an individual account, and that's bad. I mean, storing a company password on an individual password manager, it could be an issue. So as an admin, I can very easily ask and request the usage justification, and I'm just going to then ping the user directly in a Slack channel. He gets his message and he can answer. It seems that I have an account on Dashlane. Yes, this is for a demo purpose. And then I can submit. And when I get back to this account, it has been updated. So I have the logs, I have the track, and I know what this account has been created for. Very simple, very straightforward, and it just takes over. It just takes over every email, Slack message that are where the data is stored, is entered into an Excel spreadsheet in a Notion, where this is complicated then to track it and understand what did happen and what was the justification of such a sign up. And obviously it works in that case. This is the kind of the 101 justification, but you can do so many other things to try to understand why people use a specific SaaS. What is the purpose? What kind of data they store in it, etc., etc. I hope that it does answer the question.
Thank you. Amazing. Thomas, I heard that 48% of the companies are aware that former employees still have access to their corporate network. So far, how do companies are handling offboarding and how Zygon is helping against such a big figure?
Let's take this user, Thomas. He has 72 accounts open. Some of them are behind an identity provider. In that example, this is Google. So if you want to prevent Thomas from accessing to all those apps, that's very simple. You just close his Google account, and then he won't be able to access anymore to those SaaS. But it doesn't mean that the account will be deactivated, deprovisioning. The account will keep existing. You will keep, as a customer, you will keep paying licenses, but Thomas will never have access anymore to the to those apps. So now there is this question of how do you deactivate the account? And sometimes you don't have the choice.
Exactly.
You have to deprovision, and most of the time, except if you have I suspect that some you have a question around that, you have to do it manually. But let's assume that for everything which is behind an identity provider, this is a centralized managed by a centralized organization. The IT team, they do the work properly. So let's put that aside. But what about all those tools where the authentication is through a simple login and password? There is no API. You cannot deactivate the account or close the access to Thomas from remotely. You have to do it manually. And in that case, because we have identified the owners, the admin of the SaaS, let's do it simply. I'm going to orchestrate the work, sorry, and ask all the owners just to close those accounts. I'm going to request a closing. And what is going to happen is very simple, because I start back to the previous question. That's about collaboration. But on the to-do, I'm going to get the list of all the accounts that were requested to be closed, and I have the list here. I can have a due date. I know who is responsible for that, who has been assigned to the closing of this account. What account do we talk about? So that's very simple. And then, obviously, those owners, those SaaS admin, they have received a Slack notification, an email notification. They are aware that they should do it. They can answer directly into the tool and close the task when it has been done. And then you can control the offboarding or the account deactivation of someone leaving an organization or changing jobs.
Okay, cool. Another question: How Zygon does complement SSO and identity providers?
All the identity providers. That's back to what I was saying. Let's so you see in this tool that we can track the way people logged into a system. Is it behind an identity provider, or is it through a simple login and password? Which means that for a given app, let's take, I have one here, which is iteration X. I have different users, and you can easily see that some of the users, they are using Google to log into the system, but another one uses login and password. So what if you had a report that gives you the list of all the users that do not log through SSO into an app where other users authenticate through a single sign-on? Then you know exactly how you can upgrade, harden your authentication policy, and you get stronger. And the reason for that is, I forgot to mention it. It's many SaaS. In many SaaS, you cannot force the single sign-on. So then you have this kind of hybrid list of users, some being behind the identity provider, others being authenticated without it.
Okay. One more question. Reviewing app access is in general very painful and complex. How do you make it simple?
When you mean app access, it means the access review where basically, and this is part of some of the security certifications, such as SOC 2, such as ISO 27. And the point and what you have to do is to have a list of all the people having access to an app which is part of the certification. So let's think about how people do it. You are in a 700, 1,000 employee organization, and you have to review the accesses of an app with a few hundred users. Usually you go, I mean, I've seen that in the past. Some people, they go into the app and they check user by user if those users, they have the right to be logged, if they have not left yet, if they have if the role that they have is makes sense in these tools, etc. So basically, this is very manual. Sometimes they even export the data into an Excel spreadsheet, and they make a comparison matrix to try to understand who does what and if it makes sense, if it's prohibited or not, whether it's prohibited or not, etc. We have just decided to simplify the process and give the ability to our users to do something very simple, to import the list of users of a given app and then get the result. In my simple example, I've imported a list of users, which is supposed to come from that tool, where what I detect is that I have someone who logged into the system with his John, with his personal email. That's bad. I also have a partner, and which is not part of my user directory, because what we do, we compare this list against the list of the official user list coming from the Entra ID or Google Workspace or whatever, any IDP, so that we know where is the source of truth, whether what is the list of users that are listed into a given app. So that's a very simple way to simplify the work.
Okay, you just thank you. You wanted to say something, Samir?
No.
Sorry, thank you. So you mentioned about certification. So how Zygon can help with ISO and SOC certification?
Yeah, when you are in the SOC 2 or the ISO 27001 certification, basically there are several requirements that you have to meet. Let's take a few of them. The very first one is to have an inventory of all your apps. This is what we provide, and we can even automate this inventory through the access to these different data sources that I was mentioning. But you can also manually add different apps into the list, and then that's one of the requirements. Another requirement is to name and to make sure that you have defined owners to be responsible for these apps. A third one is the ability to track the access request. This is what we do, or to track the account deactivation. This is also what we do. I already show you. And on a regular basis, to make access reviews, like for some apps, it could be every quarter. For others, it could be once a year. So basically what we do is we make actionable many of those certification policies. We make it simple and actionable, and that's one of our main purpose.
Great.
Did I answer the question?
Definitely. And so far, how much of this work can be automated?
Yeah, that one is, and we have been working on that for a while. Sorry, I'm just over the over the time. But anyway, I'm going to answer that one because that's an important one. I've shown you a different example where I had to go into the tool and either user by user, app by app, or at the account level. But actually, you can automate all this. A very simple, we have those workflow where basically you can create tens of security or IT policies to get alerted or to automate some of the action. You define the frequency every hour. I want to track and to be alerted about all the new accounts that are in a view. I did not show you the view, but basically that's a list of category of apps, sorry, where that have different criteria. And one of them in that case is a list of app having unapproved or extended host token. Every hour, I will get an email, I will receive a Slack notification about which employee I don't granted extended permission, who is Google, Microsoft, or whatever, IDP to a specific app, and we have seen some crazy things with. I mentioned that one, but again, we have tens of potential policies. But I have specifically in mind an organization where trainee just. An intern, sorry, open an account on a tool that were able to send from his individual inbox to send tens of thousands of emails. And the point is to do so, he granted very extended permission on his Gmail, on Drive, etc. The right to read, to write, etc. And to send massively email. And the company domain name got blacklisted by Google, and they lost basically all the digital presence, online presence, just because of that. And so it's far from being hacked. That's very different, but that's a risk anyway. So again, that it was just an example.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we went through all our questions. This is we're reaching the end of our smart webinar. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you for those flash questions. I hope that it did help everyone, every attendee, and that maybe it will raise other questions, and we will be very happy to address them.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and feel free to contact us if you want to know more, and we will be more than happy to help you in that direction. Thank you.